Hello, this is Erica Holston, and I help couples to overcome their issues, to understand each other, and rewrite their love story. Today, we are going to talk about the difference when it comes to loving someone and being in love. I think that a lot of us, when it comes to being in a relationship with someone, that there is a misconception that if I only feel the love that you give to me, then you love me. But if I don't feel the love that you give me, that you don't love me. And I want to help the couples out there who are struggling with this, especially what we are going through. And I know that there are couples who are experiencing your ups and downs, whether it is stress, whether if it's family issues, or you're just going through a tough time. So when it comes to loving someone, let's say, you guys meet each other, you go out on a date, and they're doing everything that you like, and you just started to develop feelings for them, and, they just, is your icing on the cake. And because of that, you can start to have butterflies with this person, and this person is being consistent with you. They're making you laugh, and you guys are just having a wonderful time. And so what I would call this is like the honeymoon stage of dating. And so you guys come together and you decide like, hey, I think that I want to be in a relationship with you. And you guys decide, that you are going to get together. And so, things are going well, everything's new, everything's fresh. And as you're starting to get to learn more about each other, as time goes on, you can possibly say to yourself like, hey, I love my woman, or hey, I love my man, and everything is just great. But your question is even when things are great and you are feeling love, let's say that you have a disagreement. And again, like there are a lot of couples out there who I help coach, and they say to me like, hey Erica, like sometimes I don't feel the love when, my woman doesn't agree with me or my man doesn't agree with me. And because, again, of this misconception, we are going to take a deep dive into this misconception. So one of the things that I hope that you would actually consider is this, is that, when you love someone, that it actually takes time to really understand this person and get to know them. So one month you may have learned something new about them, the next month you learn something new, and the next month you learn something new. So when it comes to relationships, like you're always constantly learning about each other. And as you're learning more about each other, that is a growth opportunity to work through your issues together. So again, my example is this, is that if you don't agree with each other, let's say that is the case. If you don't agree with each other, how can you love each other through it? So for example, let's say you take some dedicated time and you actually sit down with each other and you listen to each other's heart. Now, it doesn't mean that you need to agree with each other. It doesn't mean that you just disagree with each other because you can be mad or angry. But what it could mean is that you can come to a mutual understanding, and for you to know is that when you sit down with each other and you talk with each other, and that you talk to each other in each other's love language, that you are loving each other because of what it is that you are doing with each other. And just because your man doesn't agree with you, just because your woman doesn't agree with you, it doesn't mean that they don't love you. But what it does mean is that as you come together, you are showing each other that you love each other. And I just want to share with you this quick story. There was a couple who I was actually helping, and as I was helping this couple, that they just started to go their separate ways, and there was just a disconnection. And they just really stopped talking with each other. They stopped communicating with each other, and it just seemed like they were just roommates rather than being husband and wife. And so with this couple, they had reached out to me and they asked me for my help. So I basically, had a conversation with them, and one of the issue was that the husband just started to shut down, and the wife felt like she wasn't actually being heard. And so what happened is that, we're just having this conversation, and I was just asking, him questions as far as like, what is the issue and different things like that. And one of the things that he shared with me was the problem that he was actually experiencing. And because of confidentiality, like, I can't go into all of the details, but he opened up and shared with me exactly what was bothering him. And the wife became very upset. And she became so upset that he was talking to me about the situation and he did not open himself up to her. And so the issue is that, they were agreeing to disagreeing, and they weren't actually talking with each other. And as they weren't talking with each other, they started to experience a disconnection, and they weren't actually loving each other. Now, I'm not saying that the husband was right by not communicating with her. I'm not saying that, there was a major issue. But in that context, they weren't loving each other to say to each other, like, hey, what can we do to work this out? And so when it comes to being in love, when it comes to being in a relationship, or even when it comes to being married, like, you have to keep open the lines of communication and love each other, and to talk with each other in each other's love language, and to be committed to the whole process. But more importantly, you have to love each other by doing. So you just can't say like, oh, I only love you when you do things for me, or I only love you when you make me feel good, or I love you when I can get this from you. But when you are in a relationship or you are in a marriage with someone, like, love is actually a choice. Love isn't just a feeling. And when you make the conscious choice to love each other, when you make the decision like, hey, whether if we go through our ups and downs, that I am going to love you. And this is what I really want to help, couples as well as singles who are thinking about dating and getting into a relationship, is to not only think about love as a feeling, but think about love as a choice. And again, when you choose to love each other, you got to be committed to the whole process. And as you are committed to the whole process, that you will start to see growth in your relationship, or you will start to see growth in your marriage. So I hope that this video or this live or this replay is actually helping you to really think about love as a choice, really to think about love as being committed to each other, really think about love as growing together rather than, oh, only I love you when you do things for me, only I love you when you make me feel good, or only I love you, and you can possibly fill in the blank. But I just want you to know is that is a misconception that I see a lot of singles going through. That is a misconception that I see a lot of couples going through. And, really sit down with yourself, or if you're a single person, or really sit down as a couple and just say to each other, like, how can I be conscious and love you more? Or what choices do we need to make together in order for us to win together? So my name is Erica J. Holston, and I am a relationship coach. I help couples to work through their issues, for them to overcome their issues, and I help couples to rewrite their love story. I hope that you like this live or you like this replay, and if you do, please hit the share button, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Take care, and I'll talk to you soon. Later.